Hey, good morning YouTube. My name's David. I buy and sell the odd motorcycle just for a hobby, and maybe I buy two or three a year. Today I'm off to pick up a motorcycle, so I thought I'd kind of video exactly what I do and how I do it. So I'm going to have some breakfast now and jump on a train, and when I'm on the train I'll fill you in a little bit on exactly what I'm doing and how I do it. Maybe you're doing a similar thing, and so you can sort of compare some notes with what I'm doing and seeing if we're doing the same stuff, or maybe you want to try and do it, and this perhaps will give you a guide of how I find stuff and what sort of thing I do. So stick with me, and I'll catch you when I'm on the train. So I buy and sell Harley Davidsons. I think one of the first things that, if you're going to buy and sell motorbikes, is possibly that you should decide on what type of bike that you have an interest in. Always have to have an interest in what you're doing, and pick a make, be it Suzuki, Yamaha or whatever, and learn about the bikes that you want to deal in. I've always ridden Harley Davidsons. I've had a Harley Davidson since I was sort of 18, 19 years old, and I know quite a lot about Harley Davidsons. So I tend to buy the bottom end Harley Davidsons simply because that way I don't have to invest too much money. I use eBay, Gumtree and Facebook Marketplace as my sources to locate motorbikes. So what I do is, like I say, I don't want to invest a lot of money, so I look for the cheapest bikes that I can, that I know that I can make a difference to by not investing too much money, and then resell them, and I usually make £400 or £500 profit on a bike. It doesn't. Sorry about the tannoy in the background. So, for an example, about 2-3 months ago, I have a contact that imports bikes from the US. I've had a couple of bikes off of him now. I got a Sportster from him for £2,000. Obviously, it didn't have UK registration. It didn't have much with it, but because I've built up a relationship with this guy, he does me a deal. So delivered to my house, I got a 1984 Ironhead Sportster for £2,000. Turned up at my house, then I have to make a decision on whether I want to make that a good bike and put that back on the road, repainted, serviced, looking good, modifications, registered in the UK, or if I want to move it on pretty much as it came in. In this case, what I did with the bike is I spent probably 4 hours just cleaning the bike, tidying it up. I think I spent £20 odd on one major thing that was a fault with it, which was the handlebar rubbers had gone loose. And then I just remarketed that back on eBay and made £350. So my train's just about to come in, but what I'm collecting today is again another Sportster. I found this one on eBay. I history check them by going onto the DVLA website, checking their mileage. Obviously, the annual inspection, the MOT test, you can see for free now the history of the bike, and I have an app on my phone which cost me about £3 to do an HPI. So I make sure I do all of those things. This particular bike is a 1994 Sportster. The guy's advertising it as a 94 Sportster with 13,000 miles on the clock. I've checked the mileage, it is all genuine. He doesn't actually know what he's selling, so I've done a deal with a guy off of eBay for £2,600. So I'm picking up a Sportster, a 94 Sportster for £2,600 with 1 year MOT on it. That's a 1 year inspection ticket if you're American. So in the UK, if you can buy a Sportster for £2,500 in any condition, you're doing really, really well. You cannot buy Sportsters for less than £2,500 that are on the road. Most Sportsters go from £3,000 to £4,000 in the UK. So I know that I paid £2,600 for this with an MOT and in good condition. that I'm going to be able to make a profit. Way to train. This particular Sportster, he's selling it as an 883. Obviously I get a good indication of what the bike's like by the photographs. He clearly does not know what he's selling. This Sportster, if it is an 883, it's an 883 Deluxe. It has a fat bob tank on it. Looking at the photos also, it has a progressive suspension, it has non-stock exhaust pipes, Vance & Haynes pipes on it, has a wide glide front end, and a Lepero seat. So there's been money invested in it. It's completely non-stock, and I'm pretty much sure if I took the thing home, washed it, cleaned it up, that I could advertise it for £3,500 and get my money back. The secret with buying them is, what I do is I find a lot of bikes that are on eBay for about £1,000 more than I want to pay, and maybe in this case I had about 15 bikes and I was just offering the people ridiculously low money, and there is always somebody that wants to get rid of their bike quite quickly. It's taken me about a week and maybe 20 or 30 emails for somebody to actually accept an offer that I was prepared to pay. So let's go and take a look at the bike. Start again. Okay, so I've got the bike, picked it up, no problems at all, paid my money. I've driven about 60 miles towards my home now. Just stopped to put some fuel in the bike. So what do you get, Harley Davidson Sportster? What do you get for your money? Well, in this case, quite a lot. Like I said, I was pretty sure that the guy didn't really know what he was selling. So I've picked the bike up. Mechanically seems absolutely fine. The clutch cable or clutch needs adjusting. It's very high on the handle, so kind of snaps a bit. But it's going through the gears absolutely fine. Not popping out of gear. Not doing anything silly. The only thing I've noticed is the carburetor. There's maybe a fuel problem, or maybe the carb's not set up properly, or maybe just needs cleaning out. It's got kind of a stutter every now and then, but nothing major, nothing that I can't fix. Anyway, let me show you what you get for your money. Let's take a look at the bike. So here's my 1994 Harley Davidson Sportster that I've just paid £2,600 for. Most of it I like. The paintwork's not perfect. There's a couple of bits on it that need doing. As you can see, non-standard exhaust pipe, non-standard rear pulley. It's a belt drive bike. Non-standard suspension. It's got progressive spots on it. I'll say that again. Progressive shocks. It has had the rear indicators changed, the front indicators changed. It has a touring tank on it, so it's got a larger tank. Screaming Eagle air cover. I don't like what they've done to the headlights, so I'll take those off. But it's a wide glide front end, not the original handlebars, because it would have had narrower bars on that originally. But yeah, forward controls. All in all, for £2,600, absolutely bargain, absolutely a bargain. Don't quite know why, but he's put a second horn on here with dodgy wiring which will come off, and he's put some quite strange indicator lights on here which will come off. But apart from that, I'm more than happy with my £2,600 Harley Davidson.